How do founders lose IP ownership to co-founders or contractors? Imagine pouring your heart into creating something new for your startup, only to find out later that you no longer own it. That's a real risk if you're not careful with how you handle intellectual property rights. When you start a company, your ideas, inventions, and branding are your most valuable assets. But if you don't take the right legal steps, you could lose control of those assets to co-founders or contractors. So how does this happen? Well, it often comes down to not having proper agreements in place. For example, if you don't get everyone involved to sign an intellectual property assignment agreement, they might keep ownership of what they create. That means if a co-founder develops a new technology or a contractor invents a patentable product, they could legally own it unless you have a clear transfer of rights. Another common mistake is using personal resources to develop your startup's IP without documenting it. If you develop software on your own computer or use personal funds for research, it can be tricky to prove that the IP belongs to the company. When a co-founder leaves, if there was no formal agreement assigning rights, they might take the IP with them. This can be especially damaging if the IP is core to your business. Contractors also pose a risk. If their contracts don't specify that all creations belong to your company, they might retain ownership. That's why including specific clauses about intellectual property rights in employment and contractor agreements is so important. It's best to assign IP rights to your startup right from the start, ideally when you incorporate your business. This way, all inventions and creations made during work or engagement automatically belong to the company. Keep detailed records of these assignments and update them regularly. Filing patents and trademarks in your company's name is also essential. And don't forget to consult with legal professionals who can help draft proper agreements. Taking these steps helps ensure your startup owns what it creates, which is vital for attracting investors and forming partnerships. If you don't do this, you risk losing control of your most valuable assets, which can hurt your business in the long run. So, always be proactive about protecting your intellectual property rights from the very beginning.